Yeah, we bring reviews of your house, talk to our dudes of your house. I bring my views of your house, wrestling truths of your house. We talk to you in your house, we keeps it cool in your house, we keeps it cool in your house. I'm spitting truths in your house.
Yes, Mark's hating on his fans, Becky Nish on the man. Play with two like a lion, household a dangerous alliance. I am an diamond like Cody, and I'm overcoming like Kobe. No, they cannot hold me. Come listen, I'm hosting, critiquing, I'm boasting. This wrestling I'm knowing.
Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to In Your House, starring Alakan House. This is the People's Podcast. Hey guys, you already know who it is. It's your boy Con, ready to get at work when it comes to this professional wrestling business. That is what we do, and hey, we love it. So let you guys know where you guys can listen to this at. You guys can listen to this at Apple Podcast, Spotify, Spreaker, Stitcher, iHeartRadio, Himalaya. Hey, you don't have an Apple device? That's all right. We're on Google Play. Anywhere that you guys are, we can get to you. And ooh, where is the clock? I'm checking the time because last time that I checked, In Your House was the hottest professional wrestling podcast in the Midwest, because we hit them with that work. Round the clock, you guys already know what it is. Oh yes, the director is in the house and in your house for another edition. This is episode 2 of the Black Awareness Summit, where we are looking to raise awareness and let people know these racial injustices that are going down in our society today, and we are not going to take it anymore. There's a revolution, ladies and gentlemen, and we are standing up, bucking the system, fucking the system, whatever you want to say. We're doing all that because the Black Lives Matter movement is pushing as hard as I've ever seen it in ever. We're on day 13 of the protesting. 13 days, ladies and gentlemen, of protesting out in these streets across 50 states, as we've been seeing it for the last couple of weeks. I got a chance to go to a protest in downtown Indianapolis yesterday, and my God, what a vibe, what a feeling. And we're gonna break that down. We're gonna talk a little bit about that on our next episode, about being there at the Black Lives Matter civil rights movement, and it's gonna make for a heavy episode. But before we do that, there are a lot of different ways that you guys can help the Black Lives Matter movement. There's not just one way. You know, going to the protest is great. Raising money is great. Raising awareness is great. Helping to educate is great. And making sure that people are being accountable for their actions, accountable for their racism, accountable for the past. You know, I go back to J. Cole. J. Cole says, it was in his latest album, KOD, Kids on Drugs. One thing about the men that's controlling the pen that write history, they always seem to white out their sins. And we are not letting that happen. We're calling it out. And that's another way that you can help out. We're calling out the racism. That's the thing, ladies and gentlemen. They hide behind their keyboards, their phones, and they think that they can say whatever they want with no consequence. Well, I'm here to let you guys know that if you say something racist, your ass is going to get called out. And that's because of the hashtag CallOutARacist. Now, my guest on this edition of the Black Awareness Summit have these men have been on the forefront of that very hashtag, calling people out for their racism time and time again, several times a day, because we're not going to take it anymore. And one of our guests here, he is a former guest, been here before, and we're glad to have him back, man. And that's Independent star, former MLW star Barrington Hughes. Bro, how are you doing, man?
Doing pretty good, man. How are you?
Hanging in there during these hard times, man. Just trying to help the movement any way that I can, just like I think all of us are, bro.
That's it. That's all we can do. Just take things one day at a time.
Absolutely, totally agree, and we'll go ahead and we'll break that down and get into the brass tacks of it. But before we do, we have another guest, first-time guest. He's also been on the forefront of the hashtag CallOutARacist, and we got to do it, y'all. We got to do it. If they don't wish to be educated, they got to feel the shame. So it's got to go down. And our other guest is a independent professional wrestling star as well, straight out of Detroit. It is Cassidy Kieth. How's it going, bro?
Yo, what up, King? How y'all doing, man?
Hanging in there, bro. You doing okay?
Man, you know what? It's crazy. I had, last-minute emergency mouth surgery, so y'all excuse me if I got split. But other than that, man, I can't complain.
Oh, bro, you just gonna have to spit it through the wire like Kanye, man.
I'm telling you.
Oh man, but in all seriousness, I'm glad to have both of you gentlemen on, because you guys are really doing great work here for the movement and helping out the movement. So I guess I'll throw a question first at our first time guest here, Cassidy Kieth. Man, you've been really pushing hard that hashtag. Why is it so important for you to make sure that these racists are getting called out? From your perspective?
Man, I feel like at the end of the day, whenever anybody asks me why am I doing this, it's like, bro, it's 2020.
Yeah.
Come on,
yeah.
It is 2020, and we still dealing with people that think that it's cool, people that can get away with it.
Mm-hmm.
And in this day and age with technology, people keep thinking, oh my goodness, this is just so crazy. They're coming out on a woodwork and racism is back. Racism ain't back. Social media just shares their views in a second.
Mm-hmm. No.
So I just feel like it's time for them to come out of the shadows, for real.
And that's the thing, bro. They're coming out, that's one thing I've noticed is that I've seen a lot of social media divides in my day, a lot of them. But this is huge because people are really putting they're putting their flag down to purposely be on the wrong side of history. And listen, gentlemen, I'm not a man that if I'm not 100% sure of something, I just don't, I'll be like, listen, I don't have enough information to speak on this topic. I will be the first person to come out and say, if I don't have enough information on the topic, I'm not going to back it. I'm not going to put myself in a position to look like a fool. Y'all, I'm telling you that I've seen enough of this in my 33 years on this earth that I'm willing to die for this. This is something that I'm willing to die on this hill because we need real change. So Barrington, you're also on the forefront of the hashtag CallOutARacist, man. You've been just as busy as Cassidy on that. And what's your particular motivation for putting that out there? I mean, I feel like it's obvious, but I think that it's good to break it down and get everybody's perspective. So what are you wanting out of this and this CallOutARacist movement that you guys have been on the forefront of?
Honestly, the ultimate goal is just to show people, hey, your actions have consequences. You can't just be online saying whatever you want willy-nilly,
mm-hmm.
Being derogatory, negative, and just think that shit's sweet. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I can personally say that there's been quite a few people that I've seen lose their jobs over saying stupid shit.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah.
Sitting here dropping hard ERs online and calling people monkeys and thugs and all kinds of craziness. It's like nobody's going to argue with you anymore, man. In the way the day and age is now, it's like screen cap, and don't fuck up and have your employer on your social media or have a LinkedIn with your information, because it's going straight there.
Yep. And that's and see, that's the thing. And it's been crazy because there's so many people. I don't know if it's been the same with you two brothers, but with me, there's been a lot of people in my inbox that are like, I want to learn. I want to educate myself. And those are the people that I'm willing to take the time on. But it's the people that you guys are calling out that are just afraid of that. First off, there's a lot of different kinds of them. There's people that are older. You see a lot of those people that are older online spewing racist shit. And it's because that manner is so far engraved inside of them, with them being 50, 60, even 40, even a little bit older than us in the late 30s and early 40s. You know, it's so deeply ingrained within them that they have no idea how to unlearn that racism. Now, it can be unlearned if you're open to it, but if you're not open to it, there ain't no point. So that's mainly the people that I'm seeing. And one thing that I've noticed is that when you get into an argument with these people online, and then you get to a point where you've cornered them, where you've made enough good points, it's almost like you went ahead and put the queen over by the knight, and now you got them in check, and then you just got a couple of moves left before you just go ahead and checkmate them, and that's when they really jump off the rails. Now, Cassidy, I don't know if that's something that you've seen, man, but having conversations with these people that consider themselves not racist, but all lives matter, this and that, and they don't want to have the conversation, have you kind of seen that when they get backed into a corner that they start swinging wild, basically, bro?
Yeah, man. Like, they double down on their racism. That's hilarious. You know, people really think that they can't be touched just because they're behind a keyboard.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like, motherfuckers today, like, they treat the keyboard like, I made a post the other day, like, the keyboard is the new Klanman. Like, they feel comfortable behind these keyboards, and they really think that they can't be touched. And I think that's what we get so much satisfaction out of showing them that that shit ain't true.
Man, this man said that the keyboard is like the clan mask. That's heavy, bro. That is so heavy, like, because it's true, you know, and it's crazy because now and you kind of made that point. Racism ain't never been nowhere. Everybody's seeing everything come out of the woodworks, and they're like, oh my gosh, this is actually, bro, it's been happening, but it hasn't been recorded as prevalent as it has just in the last 10 to 15 years. You know, people haven't spoke out about it as much as they have in the last 10, 15 years, you know, and there's been so many instances, you know, and I really feel like George Floyd was the thing that broke the camel's back. But hell, you still got to think of Sean Reed. You know what I mean? You still got to think of Breonna Taylor. You know, you got to think of all these names here. It's all been boiling over. So I guess I'll ask Barrington this question. We'll take it off the CallOutARacist just for a little bit, and we'll redirect. But I want to ask you this, man. Seeing these protests, seeing what you're seeing that on your news feed. As far as every single day, there's a protest going on. It's not letting up. We're now on the 13th day. I know personally in my state, the one I went to yesterday was the largest one in the last 30 years. There's never been a protest like this many consecutive days, and we're pushing forth and pushing hard on it. Let me ask you this, Barrington. What do you think personally it's going to take for this to end? That's a hard question, I know.
Question. Several things just to get started. I mean, we already have from what I've read online, they had the other three officers in custody, but I think they've since been released on their own recognizance, which I think is absurd. and I think that's why these protests are reigniting again.
Yeah.
We just need a whole, not even just a rehabilitation of the police force. We just need community enforcement leagues. People need to be able to just protect their own communities. The police are showing more and more that they are no longer a necessary force in communities, especially black communities, where it's become more of a terroristic force against the people. You don't need these people anymore to sit there and hover over you and make you feel like, well, what are you doing, boy? What the fuck are you doing? What are you doing here? No, we don't need that. We certainly don't. I don't think that, we're more than civil enough to do that, and then everybody wants to, well, not everybody, but a lot of these bigots and a lot of these racists want to bring up, oh, well, what about black on black crime? What the fuck about it? There's white on white crime. There's all types of crime is crime is crime. It doesn't matter who the victims are. It doesn't matter who the aggressor is. Crime is crime.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? If you want to keep it funky, another argument that I've heard was, oh, well, more white people have been killed by police than black people. I was like, no. Like, if you calculate per capita, a higher percentage of black people have been murdered by the police than white. So, but we don't want to have. You're not ready to have that conversation yet. Apparently.
No, they're not. They're not ready to have that conversation. And let me say this: if more white people, let's just say for the sake of argument, more white people have been killed by the cops than black people, then why the fuck you ain't out there fucking protesting police brutality? You know what I'm saying? Like, why ain't you out there protesting? You want to talk about that it's an issue within the Caucasian community, but you won't go out and protest. You won't go out there and stand with us and try to fight this problem. You want to say all lives matter. And then when we say, hey, we're not saying all lives don't matter. We're saying that right now the narrative is shifted to where we need to be the focus right now. Because we are the ones being snuffed out, okay? We are the ones being picked off by people who hide behind a badge and have an ego problem and have powers and have a God complex and think that they're untouchable. That they are the ones who are the angels of life and death, like you get to decide who lives and who dies. No, that is what we have a justice system in place for, which is also broken. And we're seeing it now. We're seeing the rise of the revolution, the people who are tired of it, the people who are tired of experiencing racism. I talked about on the first Black Awareness Summit the fact that us as brothers, especially y'all two gentlemen, more than me, because I'll say you guys look much more intimidating than me. You guys are bigger and scary. I'm just a little small dude, man. But the point of me saying that is when you guys step into a store, when you guys step into a gas station, maybe when you guys step into your job that you first started, or even step into a promotion that you've never been at before, there's already white fear when you're in there. They are more afraid of you than you are of them, and you've given them no volition to have this fear. The only thing they're afraid of is, oh my gosh, that is a big black man, and I've never been in the room with a black person ever. And they're scared. And they are scared. So, and the reason that I said that is because I want to take it over to Cassidy now. Bro, is that something that you've experienced? What has been your experiences with racism in maybe the most prevalent times? And I'm not talking online, bro. I'm talking about in person.
Man, yeah. To say the least, I grew up in some of the worst parts of Detroit. Right? Mm-hmm. So my mom wanted my brother and I to have a better life, so she moved us to the suburbs. When I hit high school, she realized I was kind of going down that path, right? That's kind of what happened. So imagine this was 2002 when I was a freshman in high school. Imagine going from Martin Luther King High School, where there's 4 white kids, to East Detroit High School, where there's 4 black kids. So, yeah, the dynamic was totally different.
Yeah.
Like at that time, there were seriously 4 of us in the entire school, and they just knew that we knew each other, right?
Yeah,
But,
of course.
Right. So I had to learn really quickly that I was looked different. Like my nickname, and I'm still embarrassed by it now because, like, I quote unquote wasn't woke. I was looking for friends. I was looking for acceptance, so I let a lot of shit slide.
I did the same, bro. I did the same.
Like, my nickname in 9th grade was BJ for Black Joe.
Oh.
Because Joe is such a common name. It's my cute name. It's such a common name. And at my school, there at least legit 2 to 3 Joes in almost every class, but I was the only black.
Yeah.
So I was literally BJ. So it's like, oh, which Joe are you talking about? Black Joe. Cool. And I let that shit slide. And that pisses me off now.
Yeah.
You know? I remember having to practice my quote-unquote customer service voice. Making sure I don't put too much bass in my voice. Making sure that I come across as timid as possible. Just so other people didn't get intimidated by me. I would flout. I would make sure I make a bunch of jokes, lame-ass jokes for no reason, try to make you feel comfortable with me being around you. And it is disgusting when the fact that as a teen that I had to learn that quickly, that if I didn't do that, that I would be looked at as a thug or a punk or that black kid.
Oh, preach. No, that's facts, bro. No, you're sitting over here telling me my own life right now, bro. So it's heavy to hear that from another brother, you know what I mean? Because we've all had to deal with that at some point. And I really feel like Cassidy and Barrington, that like brothers like us and a lot like us, we almost speak 2 different languages, bro. You know what I mean? Because when I'm sitting down and I'm cutting up and I'm cutting up with you guys, or I'm cutting up with any one of my other brothers or sisters, you know what I mean, in the movement that's melanated, you know, I speak how I'm speaking right now, like, you know, hey, what's up? You know, just this is it. But when you're around white people, Caucasians, my non-melanated friends, and that's what I thought that they were at the time. And I've learned a lot since then, obviously. I've learned a lot since then, but you always feel like you do have to put on that customer service voice. And it's not and the thing about it is, for us, it's not hard because we switch back and forth so swiftly. You know what I mean? From going to that proper way of talking to, of course, the more urbanized way of communicating. But the fact of the matter is that I kind of stopped doing that around people when I'm not at my shoot job, you know, because I do it because that's what they pay me to do there. But in this case, when I'm around regular people, I talk how I talk. You're gonna get what you get. You know, this is me. I'm going to be unapologetically black, and if you don't like it, you do not have to be around me. You know, and that's the thing. And I'm hearing you talking about it, Cassidy, and talk about that you would have to make them feel comfortable with your presence, and that just makes me sad. You know, it makes me sad that you had to go through that. I did. I'm sure Brother Barrington did too. It just makes me sad because I'm sitting over here seeing this movement, seeing what's going on right here in front of my eyes, and I know that I felt that same way that you felt, as far as I have to make these people feel comfortable. I have to almost be overly nice in order for them to let their guard down. You know, I'm not sure, but I'm going to ask you, Barrington, is that something that you've also had to deal with or experience in your lifetime at all?
Code switch? Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh,
That's Like you're playing from behind.
Yeah. Oh man, high school I didn't deal with it too much. I was thankful I went to a predominantly black high school.
Yeah.
Black, Latino, a lot of minorities. There were some white students there, of course, but for the most part, we all got along. It wasn't really racially biased, at least not to me. It was.
Yeah.
I may have been willfully ignorant, but that's neither here nor there. I really started seeing objectification and racism when I broke into business. Really. That's when I really. But
yeah, can you break that down, bro?
For sure. Going into places like Central Florida or dealing with certain promoters when I first broke in, that would give me bullshit. And Cassidy could attest to this, man. Getting shoved bullshit gimmicks, and they want you to, dance to the camera or shuck and jive or be a savage. One promoter that wanted, I know you do. I know, we talked about it. Or somebody made suggestion of me being a black cowboy. I was like, fuck no, I don't know the first thing about that.
Right. What?
Man, like, dude, I'm from Miami. I'm a big black dude from Miami.
Yeah.
Jamaican on top of it. I don't know the first thing about the West. Like, never been out there. No.
Yeah.
No. But I've even dealt with it up on higher levels. Not to get too much into it, man, but
sure, no,
there were a lot of ideas brought to a creative forefront with some promotions, and they just couldn't see it. Hey, I have this idea. I want to try and do this. Instead of me being presented in this manner, I want to be seen this way. And let's try this. I think this would be a really good idea. Oh, we're not sure. Blah 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 blah. Maybe I pushed too hard. Maybe I just pissed somebody off, and then I just disappeared. I would disappear. I would lose bookings and things like that because I want to stand up for myself, because I want to have a spine, because I don't want to be, that nickel and dime, dime store, hooker just laying on his back doing whatever for a dollar. Like, no, I have integrity. I have value. I'm more than, just my skin, and I'm not going to fit into one of those three archetypes of either being the happy black dude, the angry black dude, or the savage. If you can't find that I have depth beyond that, but you can do it with my white contemporaries who can just be themselves and get over and do the same thing just as good as them, if not better. And you can't see the value in me, I don't need to be there, period.
Hey guys, this is the director, Con House, of In Your House, and this episode is sponsored by Podcorn. Podcorn is a marketplace connecting podcasters to amazing podcast sponsorship opportunities such as host read ads, interview segments, topical discussions, and more. With Podcorn, there is no middleman. Podcasters of all sizes can browse and choose opportunities right on the platform, set their own rates, and collaborate with brands directly without any exclusivities. You never give up any rights to your podcast, and Podcorn is here to support you at every step to ensure you're protected and compensated for the work that you do for brands. The marketplace mission is to give podcasters transparency, creative control, and freedom, and full control of how and when they monetize. So check the show notes on this episode and you will see a link to www.podcorn.com/podcasters. But now it's time to get back to In Your House. Facts. See, man, this is what I'm talking about, is that and I really feel like brothers that yes, this is obviously this is obviously a world problem. Racism is the issue. Obviously, it is within our nation. It's going on right here in front of us. But hell, shit's been prevalent in the wrestling business for years. And I'm not just talking about up north. You know what I mean? Up north at the towers there in Connecticut. I'm not. It's everywhere. It's everywhere, and I've heard stories, so many stories, you know, and out of respect, I'm not going to put them out there. It's their, you know, it's their place to put it out there if they so choose, and that's not how I get down. I'm not going to tell you where the bodies are buried unless I absolutely have to, but, you know, it's not my place. But I've heard so many stories, and I haven't even been in the business that long, you know, doing what I do as far as a commentator and podcaster and everything, and the amount of stories that I've heard are just staggering that in ring and I really feel like in some ways we've come a long way as far as in ring. We're seeing a lot of different work in the independents, a lot faster rate and everything, but backstage, the sensibilities, the mindset, the racism, and Barrington kind of spoke on it there, is that they won't allow black people to be more than just those generalized gimmicks that you kind of wrote out there right now. So let me ask you this, Cassidy, man. Let me throw it out there. Let me throw it out there like this to you, man. You're seeing all these protests. You're seeing every day the news is coming out, and you see the social media pushback from the people that are not wanting to get on with the Black Lives Matter movement. They're making it about themselves. What do you think, in your eyes, how is wrestling going to be affected by what's going on right now, and maybe not just in the WWE, but maybe just in the local indie scene as well?
You know, here's the thing. I really wish that it would change how wrestling is, but to be totally honest, I don't think it will. Like, wrestling has always been a good old boy type of party.
Yeah.
And I feel like it's going to change a little, but not where it needs. Like, I feel like the people are going to change. Because, like, lately, a lot more people have been getting behind the whole out and racist, get rid of that shit. But, like, the biggest issue is that we're too far into this world, into this life, to excuse shit like, oh, he's just old. Oh, that's just how they used to do it. Just leaving the old guys who still want to hang around the indies, do that shit, and let that shit fly. Like, we're not doing that no more. And my brother Tay and I, we've lost so many buckets over it. Just we refuse to play that game.
Yeah.
So it's one of the funniest things that I could say, because, like, we always have this running joke, a tag name is Sid of Detroit, and we don't wrestle in Detroit. And there's a reason why.
Yeah.
Because we just stay the hell away from the politics and the bullshit.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So I really hope that it does change, but, you know, until those old heads are, you know, out the pasture, man, like, this is usual once, you know, this COVID stuff.
Yeah. Yeah. And we're going to see where it goes. You know, only time will tell on that. And hopefully there can be some change. You know, that we're kind of seeing it with this protesting and everything. And I'm going to throw it over to Barrington, man. So you were saying that basically we should find a way to police ourselves. Do you, are you, I assume that you are, but I'm going to ask you, I assume you're down with defunding the police department.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Same.
Absolutely.
Same, man. That's where we were at when I was at when I was at the rally that I was at yesterday. There was a young brother there, probably a little bit younger than me, probably 27, 28, and he just spoke an impassioned speech about defunding the police department, defunding the IMPD, which is the Indianapolis Police, and just his passion for it. And it was really powerful to see him. And that's the thing. It was everybody there for the same cause, for the same movement. And we got to keep pushing. It's heavy, and it's not gonna. We can't slow it down anytime soon, you guys. We cannot slow it down anytime soon. One thing that I want to point out and I'm not sure if you guys had watched it. And I want to get Barrington's thoughts on this. So I was sitting down. I was before we got on this podcast, and I contacted you gentlemen. I was sitting down and watching NXT in your house. They stole my thing that I stole from them, bastards. But but I saw Limitless Keith Lee come out in the Black Lives Matter gear, and that really surprised me because I know how that company is. I know the history of that company, and it surprised me in a way that I didn't expect, because they don't want to. They usually don't want to speak out on that type of stuff. If you saw that, or now that I'm telling you, does that surprise you that they let him roll out with the Black Lives Matter trunks, or do you think there's more to it than that?
No, I'm not surprised that they let him go with that. Not at all, because anything you were on TV, you got to get clearance with. You got to talk to somebody who knows somebody who can get it cleared.
Yeah.
So they knew.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Glad they let him do it. You know what I mean? I really am. But I don't feel like they've really taken a more definite stance in support of what's going on outside of the individual performers express themselves.
Yeah.
You know, the individual performers doing their thing. They're doing what they can from their position, and I appreciate them for doing that.
For sure.
You know what I mean? But as the company as a whole, they haven't said a word, and we know why. You know, we don't have to get into semantics and details about it, but it is what it is.
That's the truth, bro. I mean, that's the truth. We all know why. You know what I mean? And it's pretty obvious. You know what I mean? There is a man up there by the name of Vince, and he is friends with another man named Donald. So, so I'm gonna leave it at that. But Cassidy, same question for you, man. Did that kind of surprise you, or were you just kind of like, I'm not, you know, they probably let him do it because that's the hype of what's going on right now? Where are you at with that, bro?
Real talk, I feel like they didn't have a choice. Like, with everything that's going on right now,
say
no to him. Like, say no and let him go on social media and tell people that they said no to. You know what I'm saying?
You talk about
like,
a PR nightmare.
Wrap, so they didn't have a choice.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying? So, I mean, I feel like it's one of those situations where I'm really excited that a lot of people are worried about being canceled, so they're letting people talk. Like, you know, the black wrestlers, just wrestlers in general, in the Fed talking about Black Lives Matter shows that no matter what, like, they can't say anything. Like, when you go against something like Black Lives Matter, it shows who you really are. And when you make money, you can't show who you really are. So, you know, so at the end of the day, they had to smile and clap and rah, rah, Black Lives Matter, you know, put the fist up with everybody else, whether they like it or not.
Yeah, good point. Because that's kind of where I was at with it. Very good point there, bro, that I absolutely agree with. Their backs were kind of against the wall, you know, as far as that matters. So now I'm going to shift the gears from over there in WWE to back down to the Indies. And it kind of circles back around to the hashtag CallOutARacist. And I want to ask both you guys this, but I'm going to start with Barrington here. In your opinion, what is worse? The overt, outright racism of the promoters that are exposing themselves to be racist and putting themselves in position to not have a lot of talent work for them? Or is it the silence, the loud silence of people that are not saying anything, or promoters that are not saying anything that people are noticing? They're both bad, bro. Don't get me wrong. They are both bad. But what do you think, in your opinion, is worse?
I think the silence is worse, in all honesty. I feel like people that are silent in this particular instance are implicating themselves without overtly saying it.
Yeah.
But it's not a good look. And it actually damage them more in the long term, as opposed to those that are out racist. Listen, those that are out there and they're willing to put their bullshit out on the line, you know what? I can respect that, because if, like, at least you're honest with it.
Yeah.
I know to avoid you at all costs.
Yep.
You could avoid me. We exist. Boom. Keep on moving. But the ones like I seen today, a buddy of mine had to resign from a promotion that he had been working with for several years. You know, he really was instrumental in helping them put things together, put shows together, and just really had been a part of that system for about 5 or 6 years. And he stepped down from his office position with that promotion yesterday.
Wow.
I post today, but he was like, you know, I'm stepping down because your silence is more telling than anything else. He's like, you know, we've shared beers, we've shared meals, we've been on the road together, we've done, you know, up and down, short of having a family together. You know what I mean? And what I need more than ever, your silence, and I can't allow that. I can't be by someone that does not have my best interest in mind, that does not support me. And I feel him on that. I've seen several notable promotions that have not said anything. I've seen several that have. And kudos to them, because they recognize, hey, we have these different spectrums. It's not just about just black people. And that's where this whole disparity is coming from, because all people are hearing are only Black Lives Matter. They're adding this prefix onto the terminology, saying only. No, it's not that. But the silence is so much more hurtful, because it's like you going up to your lover, your wife, your husband, whoever, and you say, "You love me, right? I love you. You love me?" And they're not saying anything back, and you kind of touch them on the shoulder, like, "You love me, right? Like we've been doing this for a while. You know, you love me, right?" And they just keep turning it back to you. They keep turning it back to you, and you're begging for a response. You want some sort of validation. You want some sort of approval, some sort of confirmation to say that, yes, I know things are not perfect right now, but it will be okay because I know you have my back. And when you don't get that confirmation, it is heartbreaking.
Yeah, that's facts, bro. I mean, that's the truth. That's all I could really say about that, because that was powerful what you said, and it really resonated with me, because it's the truth. It's the truth that silence speaks volumes. Cassidy, man, same question. Where are you at? Is the overt racism worse for you, or is it the silence?
I'd say silence for sure. Like, I love my racist overt. Like, please. Get it all out. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's the ones that are covert that are listening. You know what I'm saying? The people that are behind the scenes that are smiling in your face while they're talking shit behind your back, those are the ones who are the history. You know what I'm saying? So when it comes to people who are being silent, I've learned a long time ago that when somebody shows you who they are, believe them.
Yeah.
You know? So it's just silent on this, but like, if I see somebody who's active on social media, right? Yeah. And they go out of their way to not say anything about this, but they're still posting like everyday shit, like I'm not fucking with them. That's cool. Go back to basics. So,
and you know what? Honestly, I've seen that same thing. People with radio, it's not, you know what? And I don't want to say it's radio silence, because radio silence means that you're not posting at all, but it's them posting several different things. You dig what I'm saying? Like they're posting everything except the issue at hand. And to me, that's telling. That is telling, because I and I'm gonna bounce off of Cassidy here, because it was perfect what he said. If somebody shows you who they are, you need to believe them. So if they're going out there being overtly racist, showing you exactly who they are, their lack of wanting to understand the issues, because that's the problem, ladies and gentlemen out there in the household. That's one of the problems, is that you want to be right so bad. And we talked about this on the first episode. Where you want to be right so bad that you forget to be human. That's the thing. It is okay to be wrong. Okay? It is okay to be wrong. What's not okay is doubling down on that mindset that you have. If you want to learn more, please, if you feel so inclined, come up to us and ask us. That's the point. We gotta open communication. We gotta open communication, because if we don't, then the fear is just gonna stay. And I really think that the main thing with a lot of white folks is that they just don't get it. They don't get it, and so many don't want to get it, and they think that they're just sweeping all this they're sweeping all of it under the rug, acting like it's not happening when it truly is. And for me, it's a spot. It's a spot now that we're in right now where you cannot be silent. You have to pick which side of history, okay? Which side of history that you want to be on. Ask yourself this. Everybody that's listening to this podcast, that's listened to myself, listen to Barrington, listen to Cassidy. Ask yourself this. The civil rights movement back in the day, if you've ever asked yourself, what would you be doing back in those days? What would you be doing back in the 50s when we were doing the same thing? You're doing it right now. You are absolutely doing it right now, because that's the times that we're living in. I didn't think we'd see it again, but here we are, and trying to make some change, be a part of the movement here. And that's what we plan to do here. That's what we plan to do here with this Black Awareness Summit. So let me ask you this. I want to ask you this, Barrington, because I really want the household to kind of get the full gravity of racism in a racist situation. And I know I asked Cassie the same question, but I'm going to ask you too. It could be in the business. It could be outside of the business. Coming up, where you're at now, where you're at now in your age, or even when you were younger. What was the most prevalent, most like the first one that comes straight to your mind, the most prevalent form of racism that you experienced in your life?
Oh man, it was a wrestling locker room, bro. Where else would it be? So that's in Florida. One of them good old boys, one of them 40-mile vets that ain't never did shit, ain't never been shit, ain't never been nowhere. Said some shit. And I looked at him like, I'm not going to repeat what he said.
Yeah. But
he said it in such a manner to make sure that everybody heard, knowing I was in proximity. So I turned around and I looked at him. I was like, what the fuck did you say? And he was like, oh, no. To quote him, oh, I didn't mean nothing by it, brother. You're one of the good ones.
Oh.
Fucking excuse me?
Oh, my God.
I was like, what the fuck do you mean by that, bro? He's like, oh, you're not one of those thugs.
Oh, come on.
I had to walk out of the venue. I had to walk off and I had to cool down because I would have ended up getting arrested that night. So I walk out, I cool down. I thankfully we weren't in the same match together.
Yeah.
Because I would have beat his ass. But I went, I worked, I got my pay, and I just left. I didn't talk to anybody else for the rest of the night. And, the people I was riding with were like, you all right? I'm like, no.
Yeah.
Not okay.
Yeah, man.
And it's always, especially in the Central Florida scene, South Florida not so much because there's a lot of diversity, but Central Florida, North Florida, forget about it. Forget about it. You know what I mean? It gets worse and worse the further north you go. And then you start getting into Georgia, you start getting into, Alabama, Tennessee, places like that. What I've noticed is that in my travels, I've been wrestling for almost 9 years now.
Yeah.
And I've wrestled Georgia, I've wrestled the Carolinas, I've wrestled Texas, Wisconsin, several places throughout the country. And I always notice that I have the best reception and the best interaction with people up north, which is crazy.
Yeah.
Jersey, Brooklyn, Ohio, Wisconsin, in those types of areas, which is weird. But down south, man, it's a totally different beast. It really is.
And this is what we're trying to change here, folks. We're trying to open up the lines of communication. So let me ask you this, as I talk about open up the lines of communications and educate. I want to ask you this, Cassidy. What do you think, bro? What do you think is the best way for a Caucasian person, one of our non-melanated friends, an ally as they call them, a way to help the movement, a way to educate themselves? Because I don't know if you guys have gotten the same inboxes that I've gotten from a lot of, Caucasian people, but they want to know what they can do to help. What can they do to show that they're in solidarity with the movement? Now, they can't obviously experience what we've experienced. It's not possible. But what do you think, Cassie, they can do to help?
Yeah, I did have a couple of Hugh friends, actually, of the Hughes variety. And they were basically asking me, what can they do if it... And I think that, the first thing I let them know is, if you see something, say something.
Yeah.
Don't just let it slide. I've had friends who I love, people I've been seeing since high school. This one young lady I went to high school with, I jumped for joy. This lady has blocked her own family on Facebook. She says she's not talking to family members because they were saying, out of pocket shit. And she's a white lady, and she's like, we shouldn't be saying that. They're like, oh, well, that's just the way it is. No, bitch, it's not. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I had a friend of mine today, but mind you, I'm blocked on Facebook, by the way, because I'm sharing these posts. So I'm currently blocked on Facebook as we speak. But they just re-blocked me for the exact same thing they blocked me. I didn't even know that was possible. So on my other page, because you got to have a backup when you go on to get stored, because you're going to get the
Yeah, they're going to ban you, bro.
They're coming for me, so I got the backup ready. So I'm on the backup, and I have this chick that I used to deal with back in the day. She's cool with my family members, so I see them interacting. And Steve moved on. She lives in Texas. She has a husband, kids, and all that stuff. And she was basically saying, I didn't think this needed to be said, but my husband's views don't match mine. I don't have a hateful bone in my body, yada, yada, yada.
Dump him then.
You are sleeping with this man.
Yep, dump him.
You are sharing your life with this man.
Yep.
You are raising children who are learning from this man, who think that it's going to be okay, because as we know, racism is taught.
Yep.
So this motherfucker is teaching your kids how to hate. And the fact that you're silent and that you're speaking out about it on social media, but you're still laying up with this motherfucker lets me know that you don't give a fuck about anything that he says, because obviously it's not enough to leave him. Which goes to show to me, and I just think it's hilarious because I'm sure he does not know that she has had black in her. But I say that it's hilarious that this chick is married willingly to blatant Texan racist. And she's like, well, that's not me. That's not my truth. But you married that truth. So it's your truth or not.
Yep.
So it is what it is.
You guilty by association. You know what I mean? You're guilty by association, and that's where we're at, y'all. That is exactly where we're at. Is that you have to understand? You have to understand that the people that you keep around you, ladies and gentlemen, the people that you keep around you, are in fact a representation of you. You know,
so you are your people.
You are your people. I've heard a saying before that if you hang around with 4 other broke motherfuckers, you're gonna be the 5th. You know what I mean? So it's a mindset. It's a mindset. You hang around with 4 rich motherfuckers, you're gonna be the 5th rich. You're gonna be the 5th rich one. So I'm gonna throw that same question over to Barrington here. What can our non-melanated friends do to help support the movement without making it look like they're just trying to be trendy and try to be cool? Because this isn't something that's a fad. This is serious. There are people that I saw, and now I'm about to get a little heated before I throw it over to Barrington. I saw people at this movement, at this civil rights protest, that were taking selfies, acting like they were in the club or something. Listen, this ain't a party, y'all. This is not a celebration. We're not celebrating shit. We're fighting. Okay, so this isn't for you to go and go out with your girlfriends and say that you are part of a civil rights movement. This is real, y'all. This is real. So Barrington, what can they do to help assist in the movement without, just without raping the culture? You know what I mean?
Educate yourself, man. Educate yourself. Know what you're fighting for. Don't just look at one instance of injustice and say, well, this is what we're fighting for. No, you have to look at from the beginning, from the Middle Passage, when millions of people were being thrown over boats in the middle of the ocean, where sea creatures are still for our flesh today, because it's so ingrained in that sea. You have to start looking at how we were treated like property, and everybody wants to stop arguing with people that don't want to listen. They don't want to be educated. They're not willing to compromise. They're not willing to not dig their heels into some ignorance. Let them move the fuck on. Like, don't even argue with them. You know what I mean?
Yep.
If you want to financially assist the cause, the NAACP Legal Defense and Education Fund, and then you also have Color for Change, which is a nonprofit organization helping with people of color. You have a lot of these places that are really doing positive work and really doing great things, but we just have to consistently educate ourselves and be willing to support ourselves, and above anything else, support our own. Buy Black wrestlers' products, buy Black products. Let's start that money in the communities, because that's the biggest problem that we have above anything else. You know what I mean? We support everybody else. We buy the popular wrestler shit. We buy the top star shit, but we're not buying our brothers and sisters shit. I just bought a shirt from Cassidy the other day because he's my boy. You know what I'm saying? He had a shirt that I was interested in. I'm like, hey, I didn't ask him for any discounts. I didn't do anything like that. I bought that at face price. I said, brother, what's the price? He gave me the price. I shot him the money. My product should be coming this week. And that's how we have to start keeping our money in-house. We need to start taking care of each other. We need to start keeping shit in-house. Just the same way you would pay $40, $50 for a shirt from Shop Zone, you need to spend that $40, $50 with your brothers and with your sisters. Keep that money circulating. Keep that shit in-house. Keep that shit blowing. So we can start building up our empires, our buildings, our castles, our cultures. That's what the fuck we need to be doing.
Damn right. Damn right. You better preach it, brother, because that's the fucking facts right there. That we gotta keep it. We gotta keep it in house. We gotta circulate this money back into the movement, circulate the money back into the culture, circulate the money back into our economy, so we, as he said, can build our castles, build our movements. It's so important. It is so important. And this conversation right here was important. It made for a really good one. I really hope that it opens a lot of people's eyes, and I think that it will. I think that it will, guys. This was the second edition of the Black Awareness Summit. And before we go, Cassidy, man, do you have any final thoughts that you want to throw out there to the household about the movement or tackling racism, police brutality, or anything that you want to get out there? And also let them know where they can find you at too, bro.
Yeah, man. I just think retrospectively, it's a beautiful thing that we got this, hashtag going. My cousin Barrington put me on, and I was more than glad to share my little 4,900 friends. I got a big mouth, so, that's actually one thing that I love is that I decided to be uncompromising. And that's something that a lot of people who I'm people with decided to be uncompromising, where we just refuse, we just stop giving a fuck. One of the things that I would say is just tired. We're fucking tired. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm so tired of being that guy. I'm so tired of having to have this conversation. I'm so tired of having to feel like I might die if I get pulled over for fucking turning, for turning too fast or some shit like that. You know what I'm saying? Not using my blinkers. You know what I'm saying? Like, the anxiety that black and brown people feel when they have to deal with just with life, right? You know what I'm saying? Like, none of us chose to be who we are. We embrace it. So the fact that people come on Facebook, on social media, and they're like, "Oh, where's my white privilege card?" Shut your bitch ass up, bro.
Facts.
Like, you don't get it. 365, bro. Like, it don't matter where the fuck I'm at. I always gotta look around. I'm always looking at my surroundings, because you never fucking know. There just might be one white dude who just has, Liam Neeson theory, who's just looking for one black guy to kill.
Yep.
I might be that black guy. So it don't matter where the fuck I'm at in this world. I would say, no, real talk, I would say the one place that I ever felt more comfortable than anywhere, Jamaica. Like, 100% everybody look like me. I love it. But other than that, like, it don't matter where I go, I gotta have my head on the swivel, because at the end of the day, that is what life is. When people see these posts and they're so shocked by calling out racist, boom, 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 this is everyday life for us.
Yeah.
It's no different. I've been doing this shit for over a year. You know what I'm saying? Calling out people who do racist shit. And people used to say, "Oh, I'm racist." No, I'm just scrolling down Facebook, bro. It's just right here.
It's right there in plain sight, bro.
Here. You know?
Yeah.
And it's the type of situation where it's just like, I'm over it. I'm tired. I don't give a fuck. If I lose my Facebook, I lose it. So if I lose my life, I lose it. But I'm doing what I do so I can tell my daughter that I did shit the right way.
Yep.
That I was a black man who decided to stop fucking caring about what they thought about us. That is something we're dying for. Cassidy Kieth is my Facebook name. You can find me Instagram, Twitter, BIG of the 313. Spirit of Detroit is a tag team. We also got the shirt business, Backbreaker Apparel, man. Hit us up whenever you need. We can be here for you. Trees up and bodies down.
Right on, bro. Right on. Thanks for coming on, bringing all that insight, bro, and really just breaking down the hashtag CallOutARacist, giving us your truth, man. And it's been truly, truly appreciative and a blessing to have you on, brother. Thank you so much for coming on the show.
Absolutely.
Appreciate it, bro. Appreciate it. And Barrington, same thing to you, man. Go ahead and give us some of your final thoughts, bro, and let them know where they can find you at, man.
My final parting thought is just remember who we are, not just as individuals, but as a people. Every time, we're not what you see on TV. We're not what you see in the media. We're not what you see in movies. We're people. We live, we breathe, we have heart, we have families, we have children. We love, we hurt, we need healing. Help us heal. If you can't help us heal, get the fuck out of our way so we can do it.
Yep.
Want to find me on social media, Barrington Hughes on Facebook, Black Thanos, BLAQUETHANOSBH on all social platforms, Instagram, Twitter. I'm going to be updating my YouTube soon. I'm going to have some new Black Thanos merch coming out soon, because at this point it's just a complete reinvention of myself, not only as a wrestling persona, but as a human being. So from this I would say a couple of weeks ago, I've officially become Black Thanos Barrington Hughes. It's no longer the caramel anything. It is Black Thanos Barrington Hughes.
I dig it, bro. I dig it, and definitely keep me in the loop there when you start releasing the merch and the YouTube starts popping. Please keep me in the loop. I want to know what's going on and be able to support you just like you've supported the movement, man. Thank you so much for coming on, bro. Thank you for coming on, telling your truth and helping raise awareness of the movement, bro. Thank you so much, and God bless you, man.
Bless you, bro. Take care.
Hey, you too, man. Guys, that was another great episode of In Your House. And guys, this was episode 2. That's right, 2 of the Black Awareness Summit. And we're not going to stop. We're going to keep on giving you that work. So let me let you guys know where you guys can listen to this at. You guys can listen to this at Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Spreaker, Stitcher, iHeartRadio, Himalaya. Hey, you don't have an Apple device? That's all right. We're on Google Play. Anywhere that you guys are, we can get to you guys. We have Dr. Akil Kalfani, the good doctor, is going to come on and break down these issues. He is running for the U.S. Congress in New Jersey. Guys, what are you doing? Buy a freaking shirt. That is www.prowrestlingtees.com/inyourhouse. Guys, we are donating all proceeds of every shirt. All the money is going to go towards the Bell program, the Bell Project, that is, and also the Minnesota Freedom Fund. And guys, we tell you this all the time. Hop on this bandwagon. Get on or get gone. Because the household, well, we still going mighty strong. You guys have a great day and a great rest of your week. Peace.